Go.
Another option for locust pose is to set a belt on your backside, and after you lift one leg and stretch it long, replace. Lift the left leg and stretch it long and replace. Start out by pressing down through your toes. Quads are engaged, abs are lifting. You're going to lengthen by shrugging your shoulders up to your ears and taking your arms behind you, and then take a hold of this belt to help with the lift before you lift your legs up off the floor. So whichever stage you're at right now in locust pose, if you have your toes down pressing, if you have your legs lifting, if you have your hands without the belt, several options here. Take 4 breaths before coming down. Set the belt aside and make your way into tabletop. Taking a few breaths in tabletop before moving on. From here, we're going to lay down on our back. I'm going to have this belt handy, the block handy, and I'm going to place this blanket fringe side facing me, rounded side away, and then lay so that the tops of my shoulders are resting on the blanket. So I'm lining up the tops of my shoulders with the edge of that blanket and extending my legs out. Find the left shoulder blade and the right shoulder blade. Make sure that you're on your sacral bone. There should be a curve back here in your low back. Legs are extended out, feet are flexed as if you were standing up. And then take a moment here in this reclined mountain pose. Inhale your breath, exhale, and bring your right leg in. Bring it to your hip. If your arm's not long enough, you can add some length to soften your shoulders by putting the belt behind your thigh. Hold that for a couple of minutes as you find the back of your hip. Really a couple of seconds, not minutes. And then lay the leg back down again. Hug the left leg in. Once again, adding the belt if you need a little more length. Feet are flexed. Breathing into the back body. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the nose. Still have that curve in your low back. And then set that belt aside. Place your feet flat on the floor and the block between the thighs. So you want to find this inner spiral towards the block. Set your feet as if you were going to be standing up, so your heels are right underneath your knees. On your inhale, roll your pubic bone down towards the floor. On your exhale, pubic bone lifts up. Scoop out your belly. Inhale, pubic bone rolls down. Exhale, strong abdominal bracing. Inhale, belly out. Exhale, navel to spine. Inhale, belly out, pubic bone down. On the next one, we're going to inhale your breath and then exhale. Lift the pubic bone up and start to pick your spine up off the floor. Roll the upper arms, triceps down. As you squeeze that block, coming into bridge pose. So the block is squeezing, glutes are engaged, maybe to a number 5 on a scale of 1 to 10. Reaching out through your knees, If you need a little more, use your upper arms to help you lift. And then lower slowly down one vertebra at a time, like precious pearls. Pubic bone rolls down. Inhale. Exhale, strong abdominal bracing once again before you start to peel your tailbone and the rest of your spine up off the floor. Coming into bridge pose. Press down through your triceps, your upper arms, and then lower down. One vertebra at a time. Take the block out. And then this time, pubic bone down, inhale, exhale, navel to spine. Start to pick your spine up off the floor. And when you get up to about halfway, you can set the block underneath your tailbone, a little bit of flesh hanging over the bevel. In this supported bridge pose, roll the palms up and soften your face. Close your eyes if you like. Take a few breaths here. You can bring the right leg in if that's comfortable. Add the left leg to a right angle. If that's going okay, stretch the left leg up and the right leg up for a little bit of supported shoulder stand, or kind of a legs up the wall position. You can point and flex your feet. Maybe take 4 to 6 breaths as you just soften your face. Remember, your tailbone, sacral bone area is what's on the block. Opening and broadening across your collarbones, softening your belly. And then bend your knees to a right angle. Put one foot down at a time. Engage your abdominal muscles as you pick your spine up off the block. And then lower down one vertebra at a time. Pubic bone is the last thing to lower. Take a moment. Please roll over to your side. Place your hands on the floor, look behind you, and come into tabletop. Now spend a moment in tabletop as you transition here. Placing your blocks on the mat in front of you and bringing the right foot forward. Here we are in lunge position, right angle in the front leg and right angle in the back leg. So your pelvis is at neutral. You can press down into your knee to lift your chest, lengthen your spine. Draw the right heel towards the left knee. On the inhale, arms out in front. Plug the head of the arm bones in. Reach up and overhead. If that's not comfortable, you can come into cactus, which opens your chest. Take a few breaths here in lunge pose. Everything's drawing towards the midline. Right glute muscles are engaged. Reach your arms up, hands to heart center. And we'll bring the left leg forward. Please make sure that your blocks are underneath your fingertips, or your chair seat is right out here in front of you. Draw the left heel towards the right knee. Press into your front knee when you're ready, lifting your chest. Inhale, arms out, plug the head of the arm bones in, reach up and overhead, pull down into cactus if that's more comfortable. It allows you to pull the chest through, lifting the sternum for a few breaths. Drawing the legs towards each other, engaging the left set of glutes now. Reach up and overhead, hands to heart center. And then I'm going to put my blanket back on my mat, fringe away from me and rounded edge behind me. I'm going to put the blocks in place once again and come to kneeling Tadasana. I have my blocks right there where I can reach them, or once again a chair seat will be helpful too. I'm going to shift all my weight into the left side and take the right leg out at 45 degrees. I've got my heel planted on the floor and pulling towards me so my quadricep muscles engaged. I've got the blocks underneath my fingertips to feel stable. Inhale the arms to a T shape, and then place the back of the right hand inside the right thigh as you reach the left arm up for gate pose. Press down through the top of the left foot, and stretch up through the armpit chest, pressing the back of the hand into the thigh, thigh into the hand. Back to the T, hands on your hips or the blocks as you come back to kneeling. Refine your pose, refine your base. And then from there, you're going to shift all your weight into the right side and take the left leg out at 45 degrees. So this is going to stay at neutral the whole time. Press down through the top of the right foot now as you take the arms out. Placing the back of the left hand inside the left thigh, reaching the right arm up for gate pose. Quadricep muscle engaged, toes coming towards you. The center of the heel is on the floor. As you breathe here in gate pose, reaching up, stretching through the armpit chest, pressing the back of the hand into the thigh. Come back into the T, hands on your hips or your blocks as you transition into kneeling Tadasana once again. From here, we're going to come into tabletop once again. Now remember, when you do a weight-bearing pose, you can roll up the front of the mat. You can use your forearms. You can use weights. You can use your fists. Whatever you need to. You can also use the back of the chair and just do half dog. So shoulders over the wrists. Elbow creases turn in, turn the toes under. You can move the knees back just a titch. Abdominal muscles lift in and up. As you inhale, you're going to press down, lift your knees, shift your weight away from your hands. As you lift your tail high to the sky and lengthen your neck down towards the floor, neck and head, for downward facing dog. Breathing in and breathing out, not necessary to straighten your legs. In fact, you can alternately bend and stretch your legs a little bit. Bring your knees back to the mat. Come to sitting on your heels. And then find your blanket. Create the corner to sit on. I'm going to sit facing you. I'm putting my center, my pelvic floor on that corner. Take the flesh away, find the sits bones. Two hands roll the right femur bone in. Two hands roll the left femur bone in. And then have your belt and a block nearby. So from here, you're lifting up through the front of the body. Nice long spine. Sides of the neck are back. As you take a moment in Dandasana, staff pose. Install the block between your calves, and then place the belt around the ball mound, pinky toe side and big toe side. So your collarbones are lifting as you lengthen your spine and come back up to a nice long tall spine, but the ball mounds are pressing into that web of that belt. Soften your shoulders. Inhale, lift and lengthen. On your exhale, draw your collarbones towards your toes and your toes towards your collarbones. Keep the chest leading. Press down through the backs of the legs and then come back up. Inhale the breath, lengthen. Exhale, bringing the collarbones towards the toes, toes towards the collarbones. In seated forward fold. Come back up to a tall spine. Open and broaden the collarbones. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, collarbones towards the toes, toes towards the collarbones. Coming back up one more time. Inhale the breath. Open the chest. Exhale. Collarbones towards the toes, toes towards the collarbones. Imagine the backs of your legs moving down towards the floor. And come back up to a tall spine. Now if your hamstrings are tight, you can put a blanket underneath your knees so that your hamstrings have something to press into and can release into. From there, set the block and the belt aside and take your legs wide. So you're coming to the corner of the edge of the corner of this blanket. Sits bones are resting on either side of the corner and your pubic bone is rolling down. So the inseam of the leg feels like it's rolling down towards the floor. Now, if you are shorter, you might want to put a block in the front and a block in the back. If your torso is long and your arms are long, you might not need the block. It just gives you more space. So you're tenting your right fingertips behind your back, opening the shoulder, tenting your left fingertips in the center between your legs. Inhale, press down into the floor. Exhale, rotate the right rib cage to the right for a twist. Seated Upavista Konasana twist. Keeping the chest lifting, rotating only through the rib cage. And breathe. Come back to center. Leave the right fingertips there. Tent the left fingertips. Adjust your blocks as necessary. Inhale, press down into the fingertips. Lift the chest. Toes are coming towards you. Exhale, rotate the left rib cage to the left. Try not to have your head be the leader in this. It's your rib cage, your torso, for the twist on this side. The left shoulder is back to keep the chest lifting. Please come back to center and help your legs back together again. From here, lie back down on your mat. Only pad your head if you have a little head forward issue, or in other words, your chin is sticking up. You want to lengthen the back of your neck. So if you need to have a little more height, please do that. Arms are by your sides once again. Feet are flexed, dorsiflexed. Find that sacral bone, slide your hand under to see if there's a curve there. That's important. Take a nice deep inhale, drawing the breath all the way up your legs, as if there was a hole on the bottoms of your feet. And you're drawing a nice breath up through your legs, your thighs, your belly, your chest, your throat, and out through your mouth. And another. Inhale all the way up your entire body, a nice sip of breath, drawing it up through your belly, chest, throat, and out through your mouth. Now place your feet on the floor as wide as your mat and rest your knees together. Make sure your shoulder blades are nicely supported. And place your arms out in a T shape. On your inhale, the knees will be touching. On your exhale, you'll drop them over to the right side. Inhale, bring the knees back together. Exhale, drop your knees to the left side. So you're just shifting from cheek to cheek. Inhale together. Exhale to the right. Inhale, touch the knees together. Exhale, drop them to the left like a windshield wiper. So you're just stabilize the back of the pelvis and you're just moving from side to side without going too far over. Following your breath here as you inhale and touch, exhale and drop, inhale and touch, exhale and drop. Now bring your knees together, inhale your breath. This time on your exhale, you're going to drop your knees to the right, put your right heel on your left knee for a little bit more stretch of the front of the hip on the left side. Try not to go over too far. You can always put a block underneath the outside of your leg so that the stretch stays in the front of your hip. Please take that apart. Knees rest together, realign. Inhale. Exhale, drop your knees over to the left side now. Left heel on the right knee. Remember, you can support the outside leg with a block. The stretch is here at the front of the right hip. Breathing into that hip. Place your foot on the floor, rest your knees together, realign your pelvis. And then hug your knees in, staying on the sacral bone. You can make circles with your knees, going the other way. Spend a moment or two holding on to your knees, keeping them still. Close your eyes. Notice any sensations that you may have, anything you may have learned over this yoga practice. Place your feet on the floor, and we'll get ready for Shavasana. So there's several options for Shavasana. You can put a block on the low side and the middle side, adding a blanket on the block on the middle side. And then lower yourself down so that the block is right under your shoulder blades. And then pull this other block in so that it's up close to your shoulders to support them. The block that's underneath your shoulder blades does not have a blanket, so that the back of your body is reminded it's time to soften. So take a few moments and find your favorite Shavasana. There's many different options. You can put a rolled up blanket underneath your knees without the blocks underneath you. Whatever you like to do, please do that at this time. Once you're all settled in, soften the muscles in your face. Relax your eyes. Swallow and soften your tongue, your throat, and your belly. Soften the tops of your forearms, your palm, and all your fingertips. Take your arms away from the sides of your body if they're not already. Take the legs wide, let them roll open. As you invite and allow yourself to settle over the props now, taking however long you need in Shavasana. I would recommend at least 4 or 5 minutes, more if you can manage that. When 4 or 5 minutes is done, please bring your knees in. Carefully and mindfully roll over to your left side, keeping your head low, making that nice, comfortable fetal position. When you're ready, place your hands on the floor and look behind you to come to a comfortable seat. Thank you for joining me today. Take this calmness that you've created within you throughout the rest of your day. And I just want you to know that I miss you, and I hope this finds you healthy and well. Namaste.